and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing the monthly setup for September. In this video and for this month, I will be doing both planners together. I have somewhat already started setting up the pages because I have been trying to figure out what exactly I want to use. If you saw the end of month flips, then you know that I talked about moving things around. Naturally, that's what we do on this channel. And so I moved a few things. So the biggest thing is my weekly inserts, and then I guess somewhat of a monthly. So I mentioned that in my Mulberry A6, I wanted to have my weekly inserts in here. So for reference, if you're new, if you missed it, I'll have the videos linked below if I can link them. Also link everything that I can link insert wise and discount code wise down below. But we have my Mulberry A6, which is my reference and list planner. I was debating on making it more of an on-the-go planner by adding weekly inserts, and I tried it. So if I can remember, I will add the Instagram post here where I shared 1 week's setup, but I don't know, it didn't fit. I don't know, I didn't like it. It didn't work. I didn't take it on the go. So I think this is going to be an at-home planner, and I don't need that in my Mulberry right now with the way the setup currently is and with how the A5 is. So a lot of when I move things around, it really depends on what is in which planner. So for example, all my other weeklies are in here, and sometimes I might need to see these more than I see whatever is in here. Having the overview inserts within the reference planner made sense versus like a tactical insert where I'm in it every day, because I wouldn't be in this every day, right? So it needs to match the planner setup slash what it's with. And so I tried it, and I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan, because pretty much that meant like all of my plans are in this planner, and then I had one here, and it just didn't work from day to day. The idea and the concept worked, but since it didn't work day to day, I decided not to do that. And so I think I already removed them out. Yeah, I moved them out, and so I kind of set things back up to where it was. We're not gonna really be in this planner for the setup, which is why I'm doing these together, because the only thing I would need to update is this yearly pullout in my schedule section, but it's already, everything's already in here. So this is, like I said, reference and list. So all of my plans come in here at the beginning of the month or whenever I get them. And so since I already had all of these set up, there's nothing else to add for the month. I already double checked. And so there's nothing to touch, so we're not gonna spend too much time in here, but I do wanna share the setup since that's what these videos are about. So my inbox, outbox, nothing's changed. And then I have this still organized by reference and list. So this is my reference section. And so the weekly inserts were gonna be in here. Instead, I decided to just keep my expenses in here. So this is my finance section. And then we have the expense inserts from Infinite Lotus in here. We have my intentional planning dashboard from Cloth and Paper to start my content section, which is the next tab. And these have the grid slash list inserts from Infinite Lotus. What did change here is that I'm only keeping these in here because this is the only thing that I've really been using if I use them for content planning. And so this is gonna stay as is. I had the project inserts in here at some point, and I decided just to move them to their own section. So this last tab as part of the reference planner is now just the project inserts. This is more like a miscellaneous section, and I think it's just because like I haven't used these. And so with that, if I don't use something, as y'all know, I try and find a way to use it, or I replace it so that way I can use it. And I think this is just one of those things where I need to accept that it's there if I need it. Since it is a reference planner, I don't necessarily need it every single day. So for now, until I find use for this tab, or until I start using these, we'll just keep this here. But that is the reference section, and then we have the list section, and then that hasn't changed. So we have the master lists. So everything from my order trackers to wish lists to what I'm eye on, etc. We have my next section is my book section, which I really love, and that's just my reading list. And then we have a separate like divider for my Star Wars books. And then the last tab is my notes. So this part didn't change. It's just the reference section. So that is this planner and how it is set up. And again, we'll reference it as we set up this planner. This is where we'll do most of the changes. So I found a few inserts that I want to reincorporate in here. So I really want a better monthly view. And so I found my ROSIE PAPETERIE monthly inserts that I got at the beginning of the year, and we're going to put these back into this planner, move things around. I also finally found my DBA dashboard. I took it out and I don't know where it went. And of course, now that I'm about to finish up, I find it. But we're going to put this back in my academic section. And then I found the 2025 calendar. I don't know if we'll put it back in, but I found it, so I pulled it out just for fun. So this is what we're adding / potentially adding. As I've mentioned, I've been experimenting, and so in this planner we have the 3 same tabs, but they're somewhat organized differently. So this first tab is still my schedule tab. That's the same in the Mulberry. The other 2 vary though. So we have the second tab, which is my weekly tasks / notes. And so with that, we have the weekly task inserts from Cloth and Paper. I was thinking about adding this to, I think I did add it to my schedule section for a few days, and I just liked it kind of on its own since it's somewhat different. I think I was going to add it to my daily tab, but for some reason I really just like having my hourly at the end of my schedule. It made sense because I use these on a daily basis, but having its own tab also works for me. So these have their own tab, and then at the back we have just notes so that I can write down any notes. And then the last tab is my academic section. And so this is where we'll add my DBA vellum that I finally found. And then this section is set up. Nothing's changed in here. Nothing ever changes in here except like I add to it and I reference it. So it's just notes on my dissertation. So we have that. Weekly tasks and everything won't change. And then this is something that we don't set up in advance, so I like to come in here every single day, hence why I wanted to put it in the daily section, and just write out whatever I need to do for the day if I use them, because like I didn't really use them. I'm filming here, I didn't really use them this day, so that's where we're at. And then I added a little inbox in here. I wanted to use my little mountain dashboard as the cover, and then I added the new read sticky notes that I got from Cloth and Paper, and this is my TBR list, and I actually really like it, especially with how it like layers with everything else. So we have those, and where we'll spend most of the time is the schedule section. So currently we have the top tabs from Infinite Lotus. We have yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily. And so the yearly will not change. So this has the beginning of the weekly task insert, so the year at a glance, holidays and observances. I have this 2025 vellum, and I just moved the, I think it's the Palm Dashboard from Infinite Lotus sub box is what it's called here. And that's just because I really like it and I wanted to keep it in here. So we have it layered there. And then these are from the sub box again. These are the yearly inserts, and I've been using them a little bit more each time, which I really have been liking. So I set let's see. I set up the birthdays. I need to do anniversaries, but there's not many, like, I don't know, I think it's weird. I don't know what anniversaries to track. Like, do I put up my friends' anniversaries in here? I don't know. So for now, we're just gonna leave this one blank. Holidays and traditions. I think I might use this for like time off of work and track my like my time off. We call it APL at work, which is why I was gonna throw it out there. And then personal finances. This is just large payments. That's what I started to use that for. Health and wellness is just to keep track of health and wellness, and then doctor's appointments. Home maintenance. I decided to use this for Mira. So for pets we rent, and so I don't really need to keep track of maintenance. All we do is change air filters. So I figured since it's home, I'm just going to use this for Mira because that's more important. That's my black lab. So we have that. Vehicle maintenance, I've been using that. Work and business, I just need to update this. I'm just going to keep key things in here like start date. I don't even know what else, but I will use that for work. So that is those, and then again just started using them. And then for the monthly, this is where we'll move things around. So I have this slow down and enjoy the moment vellum dashboard, again Infinite Lotus sub box, this gold marble Infinite Lotus sub box. I believe these are on the website already. Again, I'll have them linked below if I can link them. And then I was going to experiment with having like the weekly inserts in here with these this month's, and then I just feel like it's too much and I kind of just want a calendar overview. So we're actually going to remove these. I already have, as y'all saw in my Mulberry weekly, yeah, monthly, so no, monthly finance inserts, and I was just gonna try and budget. I don't think I'm actually gonna start using these anytime soon. I just put them in here just in case. So we're gonna take these out, and then same with this month, I just kind of stopped using them, and then I wanna set up something where I track the activity in my weekly tasks this month, and we'll go over that in just a moment. But we're taking those out. And what we're going to do is under the monthly tab, put in monthly inserts. So again, I have these from ROSIE PAPETERIE that I found. So these are a month on one page. Got them at the beginning of the year. Stopped using them because I didn't really use, them, so I took them out of my planner. And so I was going to say I stopped using them because I stopped using them. That didn't make sense. I took them out because I stopped using them. And I think it's because I had another monthly setup in my other planners. And now I don't have a monthly setup in my other planners, right? As y'all saw, because these are the two that I'm using. The other planner that's in my current system is my work planner. And that has a monthly calendar, but it's for work. So, that's not like personal or anything. So we need to add something back into my system. So we have this in here, and we'll set this up for sure in this video at the end. And then I'm just gonna backdate July and August just in case I want to, just in case I need it. Oh, my bad, I forgot about this. We have, where would I put this? Let's put this here for reference with the 2025. Actually, I think we can take this out and just keep it simple. Let's put this at the beginning. Okay, so yearly, 25 vellum, 25 calendar, and then we go into all of the inserts. Yeah, I feel like that makes more sense. Okay, so that, we were in the monthly tab. So we have these, and then we'll set those up. As for weekly, the change that y'all I don't think have seen yet, I was using a week on one page insert, and I was talking about moving it to the A6 because I just felt, I don't know, I wanted to try it in a smaller version, and I think it's just because I wanted to try something different. And so I actually ended up taking those out, and this is the beautiful cover from the latest Infinite Lotus sub box, by the way. I'm so excited to have this in here. But I took out the inserts that I was using, and I swapped them out for these that came again in the Infinite Lotus sub box, and I am in love with these. I know these are for sure on the website, so I'll have them linked below for sure, but these are like their traditional weekly inserts that I've used in the past. Those were like my go-to inserts before I started experimenting with different ones. I like them because the weeks are longer than normal. Normally this section is one, they're switched, so this side's over here, all of this is over here. But what I really like about these is that you get, this is like 2/3 and this is like 1/3. So you have more space to write, which is nice to write out things. Your to-do list is a little short, but that's actually pretty fine, at least for me. But like, I like being able to write out everything over here. And then as y'all can see, sticky notes actually fit really well over here, which is also nice. So this was the past week. This is the current week that I'm filming. And then I'm layering because these are undated inserts, the vellums from the Infinite Lotus sub box in here to organize it by month. Otherwise I'd have it in the monthly section, but I figured that way I know kind of like what days what. I think I ordered, the planner spot had a 30% off sale, so I did a massive like sticker order. I think her dated stickers were sold out. If not, they're coming in. I can't remember exactly. A lot of things were sold out, and I had to like get non-transparent stickers, which is fine. But I'll share that when it comes in. So I was gonna get day dots. I don't remember if I got them or not. If they do, we'll set them up. If not, I think it's fine. So I put the week over here. So this is the this week. If there's priorities, I put them in here. And then this is just the weekly to-dos that I'll plan out in my weekly tasks. And then this is how the weeks are set up. So honestly, just anything notable that's going on, that part hasn't changed. If there's an appointment, that gets called out. If there's something like really important, like I have circles and stuff. For example, I took off Friday to finish my dissertation edits, submit it to my committee, which I did, which is yay. And this week I'm waiting to hear a response on what will happen. If not this week, then next week. This is the week of the fall semester, so I have that highlighted. My mother-in-law is coming in to visit on Friday, so we have that. And then we have ideas of what we want to do, but as of right now, nothing permanent. And so we know for sure we're doing a hike. We just have we haven't decided what. We have ideas of where we're going to go, but we're going to see what we're in the mood for. So once I set up reservations and we figure out exactly where we want to go, I'll have that in here. But for now, I just have placement stickers to make it easier. I also have a fantasy football drop this upcoming weekend. And then I have my this week bookmark because this is where we're at. And then this is the first week of September. So this is Labor Day. I need to mark that I'm off. But I'll probably have another sticker here to show that I'm off. And then I have an appointment the next day. Mira has an appointment. And I just have the important, I shouldn't say important, I have F1 in here, and then I also added in football and hockey. I won't put in baseball anymore. Baseball is one of the sports that I really like, but now that my favorite sports are coming back, like I love hockey, I love football, I've always been a huge football fan. I'm a newer hockey fan, and a even newer F1 fan, I would say. Actually, I think I liked F1 before hockey. I think they happen at the same time. Either way, those are the three main things, as y'all know if you've been following me, that we watch. And so I just have those in here because these are things that I actually stop and watch, or I'm for sure going to watch these or want to reference these, right? So with baseball, because it's literally every day, even though hockey's every day, but either way, with baseball, I'll have it on, which is why I only put in the start of the series. You might still see me have the series in here. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, I just put in the sports that I know for sure, I'll stop and watch. So we have that in there. And then I've already put in all of the appointments that I know were happening. I need to add a sticker here. But I did that off camera because I was experimenting and I didn't know what I wanted to use, and I go back and forth a lot. And so instead of having a chaotic video, I just set it up, and that way I figured we could talk. But we're still gonna set the monthly. So if I'm still in these next month or during my next plan with me, which will be mid-month, I will set up probably the rest of the weeks, or we'll throw in whatever plans we have for that video. So this is where we're currently at, and I really like it. And then the last section for the setup, again, I kind of already pre-filled that part out, but we have my hourly inserts. These are also from ROSIE Papeterie, and I really have been liking these. These are my go-to hourly inserts, so it's great having them back in here. I did just put right in the dates versus just kind of winging it in my other section. So this is the current week again that we are filming. Usually my planner is open up to the hourly so I can see what's going on. Sometimes it's on the weekly if I'm writing things down. A lot of times though, I feel like it's on the weekly tasks. It really all depends on what I'm doing that day. So here is everything. And then I, again, kind of pre-set up some of this. So that way it was notable work meetings or meetings that I know aren't gonna move. Again, I put in sports. I did that, I think, beforehand though, before I put in the other inserts to try it. But that way too, I know where it lined up within the day. And I need to print more inserts. So when I do that next plan with me, we'll set up the rest of the month in that video, and then whatever else pops up. So this is the current setup. So yeah, I'm excited to try out these new weekly inserts because I just like them. My now weekly overviews. And I hope they come in a dated version for next year if I do end up liking them, because I think I'll keep that as my weekly overviews or something among this style because I have missed it. So we have that. Now for the actual planning part. So that's the setup for both agendas, and let's set up for the month with the only one that I do have to set up. Again, sorry that we didn't get to set up the weeklies. At least y'all got to see them, and again, we'll update them in the next video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my phone calendar slash Apple calendar, and everything when I schedule reservation wise or make an appointment, I typically schedule online, right? I try not to call ever. But everything is done typically on my phone, right? And so technically my plans are on my phone first. And so usually when I'm setting these up, I'm just referencing my phone and putting them in here because I use this more than I use my phone calendar. My phone calendar I kind of just use more as like a reminder. And then I also primarily use it as a GPS because I always put the address of things, like if I'm going to an appointment, even though I know where it's at, that way I can monitor traffic. So personally, that's just how I prefer to do things. I like having it on my phone too, because then I can just add my work email and then it pops up on my work email, and that instantly will block my space for my work calendar. So I do use digital. The reason why I'm going into this is because I have been asked only 2 times so far, but I feel like I haven't addressed it in a bit. And so I wanted to just throw that out there for you guys. So I do use a digital calendar. It's more of a reference and then kind of like a first pass of plans, and then I'll set everything else up. This is honestly though, I use this more than my phone calendar. Again, the phone calendar is really just as a reminder because it'll pop up the day of, and then I'll just use it for like the location. But yeah. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and sync this with this, and then I'm going to take some icons and then kind of preset up all of that, and then come back and we'll fill out the bottom. Most of everything in here. So I also backdated just in case I wanted to reference anything, even though we're going into September. It's just something that I'd like to do. So I filled this part out, and then what I'll do here is, like I mentioned, I'm going to fill this part out with you guys. So throughout the months, I like to color code when I do anything. And so if it's a day off, I have a black dot. An appointment, I use the Ristretto dots from Cloth and Paper. I added these payday stickers. These are older Cloth and Paper. I don't think they have these anymore, and then I just used them up, but I think they look really cute with this. I highlighted important-ish days different ways. So I have fantasy football drafts highlighted here, and then the start of the semester. This is a day that I took off to work on my dissertation, so I like tracking like when I take off. So holidays, like I said, black, and then the tortoise dots are a mixture of like days I ultimately like taking days off. So we have those. Let's see, have appointments in here. For the upcoming months, I put in travel days, and I used again the tortoise, so keeping that code. Holiday, so here's Thanksgiving, we have the black. This is my birthday, so I used another circle, but I can't find the actual like birthday icon. It's somewhere, but I didn't want to like spend time looking for it. I can just go back and put in that little icon when we're done. It'll look like this, 'cause instead of the graduation cap, it'll be the circle. And then I have my graduation here. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, what I can do is use this one. So I circled, it's a 2-day event, and so the 12th is the college graduation, and then the main graduation is on the 13th. So we'll highlight that the way I highlighted the start of the start of the semester. So we'll do it this way. Okay. So we have that, and then let me just double check that I don't have those birthday stickers in here. I'm pretty sure. Oh, actually I can just use this little celebration icon because we'll probably, I think we decided we're gonna do brunch with my best friend, if I remember right. I can't remember exactly, but either way alcohol will be involved. So this will make sense. We'll put this here. And then we are set when it comes to the month so far. As things pop up, I'll follow this code and throw them in here. And of course, update y'all as we do that. But what we'll do for this month is start filling in the important dates. So I like it to be somewhat chronological. So I typically don't put in this part until the month of, which is why I focus on the color coding and everything here. And like I mentioned, I have all of the actual plans within my phone, so I can always go back and reference it. But typically I know the icon, so I know what it is. But I won't list it out until it's like the month of, so that way it can somewhat stay in chronological order. So we're gonna do day off, doctor's appointment, vet appointment. So far, nothing this week. This is my Real ID appointment. And things will probably pop up, which is fine, but for the most part, this will stay in order. And so now I don't need to add anything else in here. And then I'll keep everything else blank. If I do feel like there's a lot going on and I want to start listing things out, or I need to add something in here, typically I'll just grab a sticky note and throw in like the important day. But otherwise, this is the setup for the months, and I actually really like it. So now we have the yearly inserts, monthly inserts, which of course makes sense. And then I have this month in here. We go into the weekly overview, and then we get into a little bit more specific with my hourlies. And I'm gonna grab my Ollie clip. So where are we at? This is this upcoming weekend. Here's where we're currently at. So I'm gonna Ollie clip these together so that way I can easily go back and forth between the weeks. And then, I'm sorry, between the views. So again, overview, hourly, and then I have the inbox dashboard with the weekly tasks, so that way I can go through and update the weekly tasks, and everything's now easily accessible and easily to flip. That's something that I like to do. It's why I separate everything by tabs, but I like being able to quickly get to something without having to flip through a million things. So that is set up, and other than that, that is the setup for September, and that is going to be it for this video. If y'all have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I'll keep y'all updated, more likely on Instagram, and then again we'll do those like a plan with me mid-month where I'll go over all the changes and we'll set up the rest of the month. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.